it's very fascinating to me. You were involved in finding out how Jeff Bezos' phone got hacked, and you were involved in connecting it to the Saudis and that whole thing. How did this all come about?
Well, I have promised. I wrote one op-ed for the Daily Beast about this, and in that op-ed at the end, I say I'll never say another word on this case because I'm turning it over to the federal government. Now it's a few years ago, so what I can share is only that which has been public, and a lot wasn't public. But the circumstance did involve MBS, who's the prime, the prince of Saudi Arabia, and he did send a text with a video to Jeff Bezos. They knew each other. They had met. They had exchanged phone numbers. And embedded in that video was a system that downloaded something that then later connects to a website and downloads something more sinister like Pegasus 2, which is a system that governments around the world use to get into your phone, and then they have full control of your phone.
So it doesn't immediately connect to it?
No, it doesn't download immediately because it's a bigger package. What you're getting in your first incursion into a phone or laptop or iPad or whatever, you're getting a very small file, a little executable file that then later reaches out via the internet.
And that executable file could be a website. It could be.
Yep.
And does it exist only on the physical phone itself, or is it in the operating system? And if you change phones and like upload to the cloud and then re-upload or re-download on a new phone, does that spy software make it onto your phone again?
Probably not, but we don't know completely. Whether it does or it doesn't, when a government wants you, like the U.S. government or Saudi, or basically there are two kinds of countries in the world when it comes to incursions into smartphones. There are original developers: the United States, China, Soviet Union, and Israel. So they're original developers of programs that do these things. And then there are the purchasing countries, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, and all 190 other countries. By the way, I say 190. Do you know there isn't even a consensus about the number of countries in the world? Countries can't even agree on that.
Is that because of like Taiwan? And
Taiwan's a good example. Yeah. So the best way I can put it to you is that if a government wants you, from an informational point of view, wants to get into your phone, they have you. These systems are extraordinarily robust, powerful, as I learned more and more about them. It's not actually my area of expertise, cybersecurity, but as I had to learn more about it for myself and for clients, when the Saudis wanted to get into a phone, they could.
What if you're communicating rather only through direct encryption devices or applications rather, like Signal?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So if Signal encrypts the package going back and forth between the two devices over the internet. So if you have interception between device A and device B, it'll be encrypted. But that's not what happens with things like Pegasus 2. Pegasus 2 is a very high-end system, and it's in your phone just like you're in your phone. Everything you can do on your phone, I can do from 7,000 miles away in some Saudi government office.
Wow.
And so Signal doesn't help you with that. I do think, however, by the way, Signal is a foundation. It's not a for-profit company, so I'm glad to promote it. I do think they have something very valuable on Signal, and that is disappearing messages, which is if you and I were exchanging Signal communications, we could set in 1 week, make all this disappear. In 1 hour, make all this disappear, up to 4 weeks. That's very valuable because otherwise our text messages, look, I was tasked to do this for myself when the Saudi thing started, which is I have to think about everything that's on my phone. Holy shit. Every communication I had, for years, every text I sent, every photo, every argument, every joke that would be taken out of context, it's a very hard thing to do because we're like a mind. We're collecting all of this data in the phone, and so Signal is valuable. I think Signal is a good service, but it doesn't solve the problem if a government wants you. If a government wants information, they can get it through programs like Pegasus 2.
Right. Well, how does Pegasus 2 get on your phone?
Well, different ways. It is a no-click incursion, meaning you don't have to click on anything. You might, typically you would get a text and you would open that text and that would download the little executable file, or you would watch a video and it would be in the video. But now the newest Pegasus systems, they don't even need you to do anything. They can send you a message on WhatsApp, and even if you delete it, even if you never open it, they can get in your phone.
But what if you don't use WhatsApp?
It's a help, by the way. I don't recommend WhatsApp.
Why is that?
Because WhatsApp has had for some reasons that I don't want to share, and for some reasons that I do want to share, WhatsApp has had a particularly vulnerable circumstance with regard to people getting into other people's phones. Now, having said that, there are thousands of people right now all over the world working on nothing but getting into the new iPhone operating system. And then there's thousands of people at Apple working on nothing but being sure that the new operating system is impenetrable. And this just is an arms race that's going to go on. It's going to go on forever.
So you were saying that if you get a message through WhatsApp, but what if you don't get a message through WhatsApp? Is that executable if just a blank text message comes your way and you don't open it?
Less than that, unfortunately. You can get nothing at all with Pegasus 2. You can get nothing at all. They can enter a telephone number and they can get into your phone.
Nothing at all? No text messages?
You
so you have no idea whatsoever?
That's correct. And that's a problem with, zero-day exploits, which is you don't know it happened. And you go on for months and months and months not knowing that somebody's in your phone is a problem.
And how do you find out if someone's in your phone?
Well, it depends on the circumstance. In the case you described, I was notified originally by somebody in CIA, then notified 8 times by the FBI about what information they had learned, and then we began to do work on the phone itself. And you learn about it in those ways, which is very difficult, by the way, because Pegasus 2, I feel like I'm giving a commercial for Pegasus 2, but most people can't buy it anyway. But Pegasus 2 is not sitting in an armchair waiting for you to arrive. Hey, I'm over here. It is extremely well hidden, right down at the very core levels of a phone or an iPad. And but there are strategies for finding it. And they're challenging and they're evolving all the time. There are whole organizations like Citizen Lab and a really great expert, Anthony Ferrante, who used to work for Obama at the White House on this kind of stuff. He's now in private practice. They've had a lot of success. They even have found Pegasus 2 in the wild, meaning before there was a reason to be suspicious, they've identified it. And it's a tricky game because let's say you were targeted by the Mexican government